grid system, and think about the poles and wires that go outside down your street and connect to your house. Those poles and wires have been the same system for 150 years. It's been modeled on, it was created by Thomas Edison in the 1880s, right? That's the same model that we have today, which is centralized fossil fuel plants, burning dead dinosaurs, turning that into electricity and sending it along these transmission lines and distribution lines into your house. Cool, that's great, that's worked fantastic. We've all got electricity, beautiful. But the trouble is now everyone is putting these electrical power stations on their roofs with solar and small wind or big wind. And that's pushing electricity back up the line. And the grid was never designed to do that. And so, you know, we're based in Australia. We see this in California. We see this in Arizona, Texas. We see it across Europe, in these places where there's a lot of renewable energy coming into the system because it's the cheapest. And the challenge with that is the grid can't take it. And that's because basically you just have to match supply and demand in the grid. And you get like blackouts. You guys experienced this, and we've experienced this a lot. That's when you get a blackout because there's too many people wanting energy from the grid at the same time, and the grid can't take it, so it basically just shuts down. And the opposite of that is you get times where there's lots and lots of renewable energy, for example, middle of the day, and it's pumping energy back into the grid. That really screws with the voltage frequency. And what it means then, the grid has to shut down then as well, because there's too much going into it. So it's all about supply and demand in the grid. And so for us, we approached this and said, okay, it's not peer-to-peer trading that's the problem. That's a really cool outcome that we should be looking at, that we can do. But it's actually the balancing of the grid and micro-balancing to enable us to optimize the way we use electricity in real time to match that supply and demand. And so when there is too much demand, how can we help people shift the way they use electricity automatically using machines to enable the grid to stay afloat so that everyone can maintain their approach, maintain their use of electricity. Similarly, when there's too much solar being pumped into the grid, how do we then soak up that somewhere else? And you can only do that if you've got an intelligent system that is running at a device level that can automatically